What's up, guys? This is Marco Flores, and today we have Teofimo Lopez against Maliek Montgomery in the amateurs. Hope you guys enjoy the fight. Let's go.
From Dayton, Florida, coached by his father. Maliek Montgomery from Macon, Georgia. A couple guys from the southeast. Now, Teofimo won the first fight with Maliek that he had, and it was a wild scrap. So let's see if this one turns out to be the same type of fight that first one was. It looks like it's all throwing leather, not a lot of defense. Just keep throwing leather. Well, their first fight was just a really crowd pleaser. Okay, Montgomery, the aggressor, right down in blue. Good right hand. Yeah, and he fights the way he thinks about boxing, because he said nothing comes easy in life. You have to go out and work at it. And you see him in the ring, and he is a busy worker. Teofimo Lopez, and that's what his best moment was. I think tonight, if he can win, it might surpass that, but he said he was winning his first belt when he was 8 years old. It was his greatest moment in boxing. Yeah, this would be huge for him to go on after tonight. He comes out of the winner's bracket. I really love when I see and read about the bios of these young kids. They say they want to be a role model. And that is so important these days. You know, you think about boxing and some things that are maybe a little unsavory, but when a guy says, I want to be a role model, and really means it, I think it means something to the kids who are watching him. Well, we've seen outstanding sportsmanship by all of these fighters this week. We've seen many of the kids, for example, if they lose a fight, hold the ropes open for their opponent as they come out of the ring and exit the ring. There hasn't been any untoward situations. You mentioned that Lopez's dad coaches him. He said he was really born into boxing. His dad loved boxing. His dad boxed, and so when he was a youngster, he said, I'm just born to box. Using his left hand pretty well right now. Maliek Montgomery is majoring in sports marketing at Central Georgia Technical College. He was the 2014 National Golden Gloves champion. Last night defeated Bruce Carrington by unanimous decision. The amazing thing about Lopez is he's an asthma sufferer. Yeah, I saw that. He said he really had 2 bouts that were very severe with asthma. I've known some people, unfortunately, some young people that have died from asthma when they have a severe attack. Keep that in mind with Teofimo Lopez, who you see there in the red trunks. I know my daughter had childhood asthma, and it meant for a lot of long nights for us when she was being afflicted. Nice counter. Yeah, a couple good rights. The ability to counterpunch was really kind of a lost art at times, and he did a real nice job with that one. Yeah, I like the way that both fighters, especially Montgomery, was so active in the first round. I think, though, that Lopez got the better of the first round. We'll see on the replay. Yeah, that's kind of an awkward move. Step over toe hold, I think they call that one. Well, you know, Montgomery did wrestle as a youngster. Well, then he's putting it to work. He said the other 2 sports he was involved with, wrestling and cross country. You saw the example of that good counter right hand by Lopez after landing a couple of jabs. When Montgomery rushed him, he uncorked that right. And if you like cross country, you've got to love fighting, because your legs are so important and running is so important. You know what? Running is one of the least favorite things that people like to do. So cross country and boxing, I think, fit pretty well. I know Andre doesn't look like he's missed any of his road work. No, he was working out here today in Reno. So Bo Campbell is our official. He calls the two together before the start of round 2. Any idea what he might have been talking about? Well, just that Montgomery's rushing and kind of coming close to banging those heads. He might have just told him to be a little bit careful. Yeah, Maliek trying to walk him down. So the style of this fight is set. It's Maliek Montgomery rushing Lopez. You see, you have to protect yourself at all times.
I think Montgomery thinks that he probably didn't win that first round, so he's got to make sure he gets the better of Lopez here in round 2.
Maliek trying to stop him on the way in with jabs, even the jabs to the body, and there's a good right hand. He's working that left jab nicely, Dan.
Yeah, he is. And even though he's getting ground, that right hand's right behind that jab. Couple good body shots by Lopez. Montgomery with a right.
Well, last night, Montgomery was involved in just a terrific battle with Bruce Carrington. We mentioned he won it by unanimous decision, but they fought shoulder to shoulder. I mean, they were right on top of each other, and Carrington was willing to engage him close. Now, that's one thing that Lopez isn't really doing here. Lopez, as you can see, backs off, gives him a little bit of lateral movement, counter punches as you see him moving away. Last night, Carrington stood right in front of him, and the two just were nose-to-nose battering away. Now, the crowd loved it, of course, but as you're seeing, Montgomery having a more difficult time with a guy like Lopez, who can move a little and has an educated left jab.
I think that's a good assessment of what's going on. Is Montgomery is willing to come forward and throw punches, but again, he's walking in and taking leather to try to get to Lopez. As Andre was saying earlier, when all three of us were talking, and the fact that when you're coming in taking a punch, it's harder to get your stuff off.
Well, Lopez is not letting this fight be the same kind of wild scrap that their first bout was.
Yeah, and he's changed course, because in the first round, that's exactly the way it started. The first 30 or 45 seconds was just like that. And Lopez has been able to dictate the tempo that he wants. Say one thing about Montgomery, he is willing. So the warning to Lopez for holding. And we're through 2 rounds.
You won't hear many verbal commands from the referees. You'll hear box, you'll hear stop, but he will indicate with his arms or hands what the violation was. Lopez trying to use that jab. They're actually one of the few times really exchanging with Montgomery. See how he stops Montgomery on the way in with that jab, even sometimes to the body. And there's that good counter right that we talked about.
Yeah, and those 2 punches are scoring punches. And that's the thing you have to remember about Olympic boxing. Just landing punches and scoring punches, sometimes 2 different things. Montgomery nodding approvingly. Yeah, he understands. And Lopez listening to his dad, as he should. So this is round 3 here in the U.S. Olympic Team Trials. For these fighters, they're hoping it's the road to Rio. The Olympics next year in 2016 in Rio de Janeiro. Good right hand.
Montgomery want to trap him in that corner if he can. He does, and he ducked up. And he's getting a standing 8 count. I don't know if that was called for, but he's getting a standing 8 count.
Well, he intentionally stuck his body outside the ropes. Take himself out of harm's way. But remember, when your interview with Angel Villarreal, he said, you know, a standing 8 count no different than really one hot solid punch.
Exactly. But the strategy was right by Montgomery there. Trap him in that corner. And I think Lopez may have felt that he was getting trapped, and that's why he ducked out.
So as we were talking about that, in professional fighting, a knockout is usually a 10-8 round, but not necessarily in Olympic boxing. Now, that could even up a point for a headbutt.
1 point deduction.
And I think your assessment before round 2, Rich, was right on. Then the official talking to both fighters about protecting their heads and not coming in and leading with the head. Yeah, Bo Campbell is our referee. Boy, Montgomery wants to get in an exchange, doesn't he?
He sure does. He'd love it if Teofimo would just stand there for a second. Will you stop moving and fight like that guy fought me last night? That's a good right, though, by Montgomery. £132 lightweights. Good division. And what's interesting, Rich, these two are fighting for the alternate right now because Carlos Valderas has been declared as the representative on the Olympic team at 132 pounds. Right. Valderas came through and qualified in the World Series of Boxing. So Valderas is already qualified in this division. So these two are fighting to be basically the alternate, the one behind him.
Making it a little more pressure-packed situation because if you come up short, being third is, you're out of it. So we will see. Andre Ward will be up in the ring. He'll talk to the winner of this fight. We'll find out. I think it'll go to the ring corner.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that Teofimo Lopez won this fight. Montgomery was putting on the pressure. Then you see Montgomery continuing to try to come forward. Now, it looks like he might get him trapped up against the ropes, but he was unable to keep him there. And there you see Maliek Montgomery saluting all four corners of the ring, all four areas.
Yeah, when they announced these bouts, about a month or so ago, Valderas was actually in town, and he spoke to the press about how honored he was to be chosen for the Olympic team as early as he was. So we will see. One of these two probably be the alternate. And I guess we should point out that even though these are the team trials, it's not the final word. If you win tonight, it doesn't necessarily mean you will be representing the United States. There's still some other matches to come and some other evaluations.
Right, you have to qualify still internationally. This is going to be the makeup of the U.S. Olympic team, but they might not all get that opportunity to fight in Rio. They don't qualify internationally on a bigger scale yet, between now and Rio. I'm surprised that it was even a split decision. I thought Teofimo Lopez was the winner of this fight. He fought very well here tonight.
All right, what's up, guys? It's a wrap. The fight, that was it. Make sure you guys comment down below. Who do you guys want to see Teofimo Lopez fight next? Maliek, he's on the come up. He was on Fight Hype just recently, sparring Sean Porter. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. This is Marco Flores. And never stop punching. And be relentless in life and add some thinking to it. No matter what you're going through, keep on going. Have an intellectual mindset and just be determined, relentless. Again, this is Marco Flores. Make sure you like and subscribe. Let's go. Never stop punching.